Hey guys, I thought you might be interested in understanding how I've implemented the card reader keycard version 1 logic for my game. Definitely useful for someone trying to replicate it. So let me just get a couple of things up. So create a single keycard door logic. As you can imagine, just works the way you'd expect. And then I created a double one. So thoughts being not so much two being used at the same time, but just a case of needing like key one, key two to open this door. So that's the premise of it. Right now, it works on the functionality of being in range of the collision of the keycard, pressing E, and that will unlock it if it's locked, and the light will change because it'll start red if it's locked, and then the door will open. If the light is red, the door doesn't open. If the light's green, the door does open. The respective door is connected to. So there's no key card involved at the moment. Technically, it's just a key in terms of button press. But let me explain how I've done it. Right, so items, interact, no collect, card readers. Let's go to the master. So there's two things I need to show you. There's the key card and there's the door. So let me get the door open and the key card. First things first, you will see if I click on them, if you look on the right, I have an array of door objects and it's all the doors. So I've picked which door I want, and that's on the card reader. And then on the door, you see there's a card reader array, and it lets me pick all the card readers within the level. There's also extra functionality to just have like a locked tick, and then on this one, a locked tick. So that's how I connect it in the game space. But let me explain what's happening here. So card reader first of all, usual thing, just basic collision. There's a sprite, so it looks like that. You can see the sprite is there. Sorry, my scroll's being funny. Um, and then there's the collision off the back of it. If you come, you have it where once you begin overlap. So once, as you can imagine, you enter the realm, the range of the collision, then triggered is range boolean true. Then because it's true, the player controller can enable input so you can interact with it. If you leave the area, that sphere of collision, then the range stops. You're out of range, you're in range false, and it just disables it. If I'm being completely honest with you, I built it and I recorded me building it first time round, and I had to stop because I forgot it was get player controller, and I was trying to cast it like this to John, to your player. Silly me forgetting about the controller. So I did actually have a video where I was going to build it with you, fresh, but that's beside the point. So remember, get player controller to enable input. Right, so you're in range. Okay, cool. Even before you're in range, on begin play, toggle the sprite. You might be thinking, what does toggle the sprite do? Is it locked? Yeah, it's locked. Alright, then do the locked sprite. Is it, is it locked false? Okay, so the unlock sprite. So red light, green light. And Squid Game's flashbacks then. um, debug was just to debug test it. But let's say you started the game, you're in range, cool. Now if you press E, so enhanced input, but it's just think of it just like pressed if you're using the classic input. In range, true. Well, pass the in range variable to this function. You see locked is because it's this one related to this personal blueprint. Click in locked. In range. Okay, so are you in range? Yeah. And you've pressed E to activate this function. So you're in range. You've pressed E and you're in range. Okay, well now you're unlocked. You pressed E and you're not in range. Okay, well, um, well, you're still locked. Like tough. And then toggle the sprite. Toggle the sprite. This is why you see why I didn't just copy and paste this in and there. Because technically I could just copy it in there, but you see this code is being used. This toggle sprite logic is being used for the begin play, the toggle the lock, and potentially other things, but realistically there's those two. And that's why toggle sprite has its own function rather than just copy and pasting this in. Makes things a bit easier. Less things to go wrong, less repetition. Um, yeah, so that's that. And that is pretty much the card reader. If I go into a bit of detail on the blueprints, um, instance editable and expose and spawn. Key is for next time when there's a specific key rather than me just pressing E, so like a version 2. Um, locked is again that's the key thing. Locked is like true false and in range true false. These two are the key really at the moment. That's just a placeholder. Key string is also a placeholder because if I want you to do like a text string, like maybe 1 2 3 4, eventually I'm creating like a keypad as well. So like I'm thinking potentially do the ability to like hack things. So let's say you don't have the key card, or maybe you do have the key card, but you still need to put in a number afterwards. A bit like chip and pin stuff, isn't it? Or like multi-factor authentication, like that. So the key string is there for that sort of future functionality. Think key version 2, key string with keypad uh, text combo version 3. Protagonist, just because, yeah, I need it. Do I need it? I don't think I need it at the moment, but I will need it when I'm looking at the inventory. You know, if it's an actual keycard, I'm going to need to know where that keycard's stored. It's going to be stored on the protagonist, your player. So that's that. And door is just the door blueprint. It's an array, and that is basically the card reader. If I go to what I've changed in the door, the only thing different is we now have a card reader, which is an array of all card readers, like the door, like I showed you earlier in the level as well. We have locked simply because I didn't have a locked functionality originally. Locked was only on storage. Um, and then this is the only difference. So now it used to be if you're in range and you enable input, cool. And then you're in range, you press A, opens the door. You're out of range, press A. Well, you don't go through the door, do you? The only difference is it's now got that locked boolean. Once you're in range, it then checks to see whether it's locked, and if it's locked, then tough. You still can't open the door. The door's locked. It's as if you're not even in range of the door because it's just disabled. It's the same logic, it just disables input. If it's locked false and you're in range, then cool, you can. Version 2 also needs to include persistence, which I've put here. So it's a task to do. It's easy enough to do. I just need to put it in the game instance, and when you move level and you say it goes to like the autosave and it feeds from the game instance, feeds into the autosave's character slot, I just need to say, hey, grab all the key cards and save them all their instances as well. Because right now it'll be locked again, it won't remember its state. But that's enough talking. Let me show you what happens. Um, Let me get the test level up actually. Uh, Card reader duo. So firstly, let's get card reader 1. Play. So you see that's red, right? And watch me go. You've also got the print string on the left. This is on the door, so that's why I've called it door. It's not related to the keycard print. It's running on tick for the door because you see in range, out of range, in range. Press E. Oh, the door's. Oh, sorry, it's not a bug. It's because I haven't ticked it right. That was going mad. Right, locked. It's by default all doors are unlocked because because I don't want loads of doors to be locked and then I have to untick them in all the levels. So now I just need to tick the locked ones in the levels. So I flipped it. Let me just make sure that's, yep, so that's locked in the level. Now it will actually do what it's supposed to do. Right, is door locked true? There you go. I missed that originally. So if I press A, can't use that door. Let's go to the key card, press A, green, is door locked, false. Boom, we're in. Let me show you the duo. See, this is where, yeah, save it. This is where I really like how I've done it. Because it's just looking at arrays of doors, yeah, I could have one keycard that could open up 7 doors. Or I could have 7 doors. I could have one door that requires 7 card readers, if you know what I mean. I know I keep on saying keycard and card reader interchangeably, but here we go. So we've got 2 keycards. Both of them, their door reference is door. And the door references both the card readers. You might be thinking, why does the door need anything to do with it? And that's because now I will show you the door element. So, I said checks if it's locked. Well, you might be thinking, well, how does the card reader being unlocked update to the door being unlocked? And let me explain. We see we've got toggle locked. Right now, it is. Where are you hidden? Where are you hidden? Where are you hidden? I thought he was working on tick. Let me just double check something. I think I might have made it smarter than I remember. Ah, there we go. I showed you the toggle locks, didn't I, for the key card, for the card reader. I didn't show you that it also passes it through to the door. So that's why we reference the door. And then for each door in this door list, door array, run toggle locked. Name the same, but it's on the door. So run this function on the door, on each of those doors in that array. So this function sits there and then looks at the card reader and it says, okay, so if, let's say card reader 1, so let's say we've got 2, so we're looking at 2 in this level, aren't we? Card reader 1, is it locked? True. Then there's a local boolean saying it's still locked, and then break, because all card readers need to be unlocked for the door to be unlocked. If one card reader is unlocked and one's locked, the door is still locked, and that's why the moment it finds that one is locked true, still locked local variable, break it, still locked local variable being true, goes to locked, and then that's how the door stays locked. However, if locked is false, then still locked false, and then go to card all the way around, go to card reader 2, locked true, okay, well it's just locked. Or if card reader 1 false locked, then card reader 2 false locked, then it still passes it through, but it passes through the false, and then the door is unlocked. This is an and. If you're thinking about it programmatically, is that word? If you're thinking about it in terms of how you'd program it, maybe in like SQL or C++ or Python or Java or anything like that, it's an and. It's using and logic. If I wanted to do an or logic, then I would just have the moment something is unlocked, I'd then break it, and then it would just pass it through. So then it would just find the first one that was unlocked. But yeah, because it's an and, it breaks if one's locked. If it was an or, it would break if one was not locked. If you wanted to swap it in your way of doing it. Local variable, because I only need it for that function. I don't need it anywhere else. I just need to hold a temporary locked variable that changes on the fly, that then feeds into the actual locked variable. A bit like when you're trying to move stuff, you need like 2 variables to move like item slots. So you can use temps for that. Right. So that's enough rambling. I've already showed you one, haven't I? So let me show you two. So they're both red, aren't they? So let's go to the door. Door is false, but I didn't click it because I saw it. Because I need to click it locked to begin with. There was also some work to be done around. You'll notice the door was unlocked then, but the card readers were still red. I need to, in version 2, I need a pass to say, okay, well, is the door unlocked? Well, let's unlock the card readers. But realistically, they should work in tandem. It would be a catch. It would be like a catch situation where I've made a mistake, so then one unlocks the other one because I've missed a step. Realistically, they're both locked or both unlocked. So that version 2 would just reduce human error. So E, unlocked. Let's use the door. Can't use the door. E, unlocked. See, it's false now. We can use the door. And there you go. That's how I have set up a single and double card reader lock process. So to recap, this holds a lock function, and once you're in range you can toggle lock, unlock, lock, unlock, well, lock true, lock false, lock true, lock false, and then when you do that, that feeds it to any door attached to it that you select in the instance. So each one would be different. They don't start like this. I have to pick them, and I have to pick them for the card readers here for each door, appropriate one. If there's no card reader, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It will still work. So, so I add them in at the references in the game world, and yeah, if the card reader is unlocked, then it passes through that variable to the door, and then the door goes through a for each break, and if all the card readers are unlocked, then the door is unlocked. If any of the card readers are locked, then the door is still locked. And that's that. But I will show version 2, which holds the ability to toggle it locked, unlocked, locked, unlocked. Because you'll notice once I unlock it, I can't relock it. And I want to add in the ability to have enemies come through and follow you into a room. But if you lock it, then they can't follow you into the room. I also need to pass through the variable into the game instance to remember if it's locked and locked. I also need to pass through the variable into the opposite side of the card reader, opposite side of the door, because obviously you'd unlock it, you'd go through a door, and then you'd lock it once you're in the room to stop the zombie, wouldn't you? They use that logic. So I need to add that functionality in. I also need to add in the ability to put cards in, and an additional functionality to allow you to put in a key card. So cards and key cards will be version 3. Zombies coming through the door will be off the back of version 3. Be the lock persistence and being able to relock these key cards and doors will be version 2. And that's that. Thank you for your time. And yeah, I'll see you soon.